You may have always wanted to learn a second language. You may regret the fact that you didn't learn one well and now want your children to learn a language. You may be struggling to market something in a second language, much like we have done in some of our business efforts. Today's guest on the For Your Success podcast is also doing that. She has launched high ticket and low ticket products in a very interesting and sometimes hard to sell niche. And I'm really, really excited to learn from Karim Morato today. Welcome to the show, Karim.
Hola, Katie. You speak perfect Spanish, so you already need to know that.
Yes. But on this show, we try to keep it to English. However, Spanish is your expertise. And so tell us about the things that you are doing with your Learn to Speak Spanish curriculum for K-12.
Well, hi, everyone. So basically, my vision and mission is to help parents, in this case, especially that are homeschooling, to educate bilingual children, even when they don't speak the language, because we also think, I didn't learn Spanish or a language because I didn't have a teacher, or I had a teacher, I didn't have the time, or I had a problem. So there are so many challenges, right? But through the online resource that we have now, I took that opportunity to create a speaking curriculum for K to 12 grades. And, in 2000, I was a public school teacher for 16 years. And then around 2013, I got bored. It's like, okay, I want to teach online. How can I do that? But at that time, nobody was talking about that. So I decided to start exploring. How can I teach online? And I ended up signing up for a program in my college, master's degree, to teach online and create curriculum. So that's how I ended up creating curriculum online. And then when I was doing that, I realized, wait a minute, there are so many homeschool parents that have no clue how to direct a subject, and they were in the dark trying to figure it out. How do we do Spanish? And so I decided to say, I'm going to help solve the problem. And I switched from public school to homeschool. And I remember when I was leaving my public school, I was teaching immersion and IB Spanish. And those are advanced levels, which I love teaching. And I told them, I promise, when I finish my master's degree, I will come back. I never come back,
Found something better online, bigger reach, more impact.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly.
Love it. But you didn't start out with a K through 12 curriculum, though. Before the show, we were chatting just a little bit, and you talked about how at first you were offering high ticket programs. Tell us what that looked like and what made you shift gears.
You know what? My market before was I was being paid a lot of money to tutor one-on-one, and I live in a very place that is very expensive. Living expenses is super expensive, so tutoring, having access to a language coach, is very expensive. So I did that for years. I have many clients, and I was being paid amazingly. But I realized that this thing about, I think when you're an entrepreneur, it's gonna show up in your veins and everywhere you go. And I was like, okay, here I am teaching and helping students to be successful, because these parents, they will pay me not for the kids to learn how to speak Spanish. It's like, my kid needs an A. How can we make it happen? And I used to take these kids from F to an A, and that was very easy for me. Like, I can't believe people are paying me for that, and it was easy. I didn't have to do teaching. I didn't have to do prep. I just needed to focus on coaching the kids to improve. But then I was like, how can I scale this? How can I multiply? I have a gift of teaching. I love teaching, and everybody wanted me, can you teach my kid? And I could not teach one person. I homeschool my own kids. So it was like, it has to be a better way. So by really asking myself, like, I remember talking to my professor when I was doing my online program. He said to me, I can teach you how to create amazing courses, but I cannot teach you how to sell courses. I don't know how people do it. And I was like, how do you sell courses? So, as an entrepreneurs, we always are asking the next question. We don't have the answers, but we're trying to figure out the question. And I remember when he said that to me, I can't teach you how to sell. It's like, well, somebody needs to be selling courses, a teacher or something. And that's how I started my journey and say, well, and I realized, I discovered the homeschool niche through me being a homeschool mom, but obviously not needing Spanish, but other subjects. So I knew how difficult it is to try to figure out your kids' education on your own, especially when you don't have the expertise. And I remember I started studying my marketing, studying the audience, studying what they needed. It was very challenging because, as you can imagine, I went from people dying to pay me to people who are you? How much are your courses? Like, what? No way.
Yes,
And
yes.
and this is something, and it's important to understand your market, because I didn't know about how to analyze your market. And then when I realized, well, these parents need flexibility. These parents need something economical because they are homeschooling 5 kids, so 3 kids or 4 kids, and there is only one parent working. So they had, a lot of prayer, a lot of crying, a lot of, knocking my head on the wall, say like, okay, this is not working, being frustrated, going back and forward until, somebody told me, hey, your curriculum is excellent, but how is it that your audience wants the curriculum delivered? And then when they asked me that question, and also, I was that type of dreamer. I am teaching Spanish to everyone. Everyone that wants to learn Spanish, come to me. And then I realized, no, you have to be specific. You have to niche your audience. And I learned that the hard way, Katie.
Yes. And there's a couple of things there that I want to pull out for those of you that are watching or listening to this. Karim's got some incredible experiential wisdom here. But number one was, you can't continue to scale if you're always trading time for hours. Right. And I was
Yes.
just talking to a client this week who says, oh, well, I don't have to spend as much time on that, so I don't have to charge as much. And I was like, yeah, but what about all the time you put into this in the past? What about the money you spent for your training and your certification and the hours you've put in putting this into practice? Like, they're not just paying you for your minutes, they're paying you for your education and your experience and your wisdom as well. And the transformation they're going to get is worth them paying you this much, not by the hour. And so I think it's important that as we think about scaling what we do, not only scaling our impact, like how many people can I serve with this many hours, that gets multiplied when we add in a course or a group coaching program of some sort, right? Because now I can impact multiple people over that same time frame. And that brings in more income, and the more money I make, the better things I can do in the world, right? And it supports that lifestyle business or that lifestyle impact that we all want to have. And so I think that's super key. And then the questions that you're asking too, how can I do this? Not, oh, I can't, or, oh, I'm stuck, but how can I?
No.
How
And
can
I
we make
think this
this
is,
possible?
and I think what you're doing, coaching and bringing this to, for us, that are learning from other people and other business, or just to follow your path that you already went through and you already know the ups and downs. It's so important, because if I would have remained alone, just with me, my college, program, my professor who had no clue, I would not make it. Like, the reason why I was able to replace my part-time teaching job that I used to have, and to be able to really use my income, my business income, to pay for my kids' education, college, and all these expenses that come through homeschooling. It was because of that, the fact that, if I knew this was not going to work, and I decided to leave my high paying ticket product to spend a lot of time, really being in the trenches first, studying my audience, understanding what they wanted, really refining what I have. So when I was ready to scale, I was scaling something good.
Right.
You can't. I think that it took me. I understood that I was trying to scale something that was broken before, and it
Right.
took me this, being very intentional and finding the right strategies, knowing my market, knowing what to do, being coachable, and say, I'm gonna be humble and learn from somebody else to teach me, to be able to help me scale.
Yeah. And the coachable thing is big too, because like you said, find somebody who's done it, find somebody who's walked where you want to go, who is now where you want to be, and learn from them, be willing to take their advice, right? To avoid those mistakes. But then also the question that you asked in terms of how do my people want to consume this? How do they want it delivered to them? I think that's really key. And I think that's a part of our research that we often skip for whatever reason. Like we think, oh, what's their problem? How can I solve it? Yes. And once you know how to solve it, how do they want it delivered? You know,
Mm-hmm.
homeschool
Mm-hmm.
parents, especially with your niche, and I know we've got many in our audience who serve the homeschool market as well. The homeschool parents are busy. I am one. I know. Like I don't have time to sit down and watch an hour and a half most of the days, but I could consume a 15-minute audio like this podcast, or I could
Mm-hmm.
watch a 5-minute video in between, loads of
Mm-hmm.
laundry or something like that. Right. And so you really have
Mm-hmm.
to know your people and find out how they consume the content and how to serve them best with the solution that you're offering.
Yes. And I see when you find your sweet spot where it's like you understand your niche, your market, and then you say, okay, what is the lifestyle that I want? What is going to work for me too? Because if you do something that only benefit the other side, you will resent the other side. You will
Yes.
resent your business. So it took me a while to say, okay, this is what I want. So, when I was able to align my vision, my core values, my vision, my mission with what my audience wanted and the right audience, because again, I am not going to be the program for somebody that wants to learn from YouTube or just clicking something, no, I'm gonna be the type of person that tracks parents that truly want the kids to be bilingual, and they need something that they want the kids to consume every day and learn and fall in love with the culture, because I believe languages are people. It's not just completing a requirement. And literally, I have clients that told me, no, please, you're too much for me. But I have so many parents say to me, we love it. There's so much to choose from that we love it. So, I learned that, and I learned not to take it personal. It's like the people that reject me, it's because I am not the right fit, and it's okay. But the people that love me is like, where can I find more of these parents?
Right, right. And they're wondering, where can I find more of you? And then they're
Yeah.
going to be a right fit. They're going to tell everyone else about it. They're going to enjoy the program more. They're going to get better results. And it just goes on and on. And so those of you who have heard me say, dive in and get to know your person, get to know your avatar, get to know your right fit person even better. And you shrug your shoulders and roll your eyes at Katie for saying this again and again, like realize this is a constant
No.
process. We have to
Listen,
get to know
yes.
our people are always changing, just like we are always changing, just like the market is always changing, like the culture is always changing. You have to continue to fall in love with your people and know how to serve them better.
Yes. And that's so important what you say, Katie. It's like we're serving people, and we are, and I think, when we are starting our business and we are so consumed with how you're doing it, we forget sometimes that it's people, lives that we have, and I am at a point in my life right now where, yes, I have a lot of work. Yes, I'm scaling. Yes, I have, I make huge mistakes. But one of the things that I'm going to tell you after all this process is that I love my people. I love my students. I love my families, and they can feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Versus before, when I was studying, it's not that I didn't care, but I was so preoccupied with so many other things that I almost look desperate. You know what it is, how it is at the beginning. It's like, and you forget, no, these are people that like to be served. They don't like to be sold.
Yep. Yep. That service. So tell us, is your curriculum open for sale all the time, or do you have sort of a cycle of launching? What does that look like in your business right now?
So right now, talking about challenges, like last year was my best year ever, like best launch ever. But I did a mistake. Okay, you ready for my mistake? My mistake was that I did not bulletproof my business with with life events. I
Oh.
was a solopreneur doing everything on my own. And I, took this business alone, did the teaching, did everything alone. And I felt like, I think I can handle this up one more year and one more year until life happens, health, incidents with my homes, sold the house, move out. All of those things because I did not have a team behind my scaling strategy. Things didn't go as planned. And because there is only so much one person can do.
Mhm.
So I am in the process of fixing that mistake. And I'm happy to say that I hired now 3 people, working for me.
Congratulations.
And I know, and I cannot tell you, this is so new to me. And these are amazing people that I have right now that believe in what I'm doing. They have my vision, my mission, and they are like, how can we help you? How can we make you a better business owner? So I feel like, I am experiencing now what it is to not just have a product, sell a product, but also to take care of a team.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest mistake because, I went from having an amazing, almost 6 figures. I'm going to 6 figures. And they're like, "Ooh," I went down. They're like, okay, I guess no, because I could not handle everything that was happening all
Yeah.
at once.
Yeah.
So right now that I have a team, when you are scaling with a team, it's a huge difference. And I can't believe I didn't know, I did not do this before, Katie.
Yeah. And
you know,
so what's your plans for the next launch then?
for the next launch is that right now is that I am removing myself from the business. There are people that are helping me edit my videos, work on my emails, and help me with social media. They are doing all of that. So for my next launch, I am ready with the correct sales funnels. I am ready with the right strategy. I have discovered the right strategies. But my problem was always that because I was a solopreneur, I could have the right strategies, but if I don't have the team to support me with the strategies, it was
Yeah.
not going to be the same. So for me, it's very important right now to make sure, like you were saying, make sure that I am delivering the courses. So when I say courses, I have courses for middle school and high school students. Before I started with a membership. Everything was a membership. And when I was marketing my courses for upper grades, middle school and high school, the parents would tell me, a membership, what does that mean? And they were all confused. So here I was trying to do these launches and they would not work because I had the wrong message, I was doing the wrong thing.
Terminology. Yeah.
So the moment I say these are courses, parents are like, of course, I need a course for my 7th grade and my 8th grade. It's like, oh, that's all I needed to do. And then for my primary years, I have a program that's a speaking curriculum. And I realized, what these parents needed is a community. And now I have a Spanish club. So the elementary program is always open. I haven't changed the strategy to open and close, open to close. Maybe I'm gonna do it later. Now that I have a team, I will do it because before it's like it felt a lot of work to
Yeah.
just be launching all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
now with the team, I believe I'm gonna be having a strategy and I'm gonna be launching with specific promotions.
Yeah.
Every quarter. Like this is what's going on in the Spanish club. This is this fall time. This is springtime. This summertime. And then for my courses, I just need to. I will be launching from the months to March to July because that's when homeschoolers that are taking the upper grade courses they enroll.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do, and you have to know the season of your marketing. If I launch something for middle school and high schoolers in November, December, no one is going to enroll because nobody wants to know anything about school. But if I go and launch, I know that if I launch something for primary years, because it's the new year and parents are ready for the kids to do something else, and they're like, start learning Spanish this new year.
Yeah.
I know this is gonna work. So that's where I am. I have been, now I know the cycle of my audience, but also like you're saying, I have a launch strategy. Webinars work amazing for me because webinars and workshops too allows me to focus on the reason why it's important for children to be bilingual. Parents get to know my personality. Parents get to know how I think, how I teach, my methodology through webinars and workshops. So that is an amazing strategy for me to do my marketing when launching comes time.
Wow, so many tips in what you just said. Like from knowing the seasons to knowing the right terminology. I mean, amazing. You switch it from the word membership to the word courses, and suddenly the light bulb goes off because all of your parents of students understand what a course is, whether or not they get what a membership is, and that's really another testament to knowing your people.
And I have the only courses that I close are my live ones because I teach from September to May the course with speaking classes.
Mm-hmm.
My methodology is always blended learning. The
Mm-hmm.
students, they do their independent work at home. I teach them how to say things. All of them are short video teachings that I create. And even when you teach, you have to know your audience, how they learn. So for primary years, when I'm doing those videos for teaching, I transform. My kids say like, "Mom, you sound like an actress. That's not who you are." Of course I do, because I have to gain the attention of those primary years students, and I go crazy trying with all these crazy things. And the parents tell me, "Señora Morato, the kids love your teaching." Some parents say that even the kids touch the screen because they think I am there with them. But then when I go with my teenagers, I better not act like that. Like I go more like I do jokes, but I'm, like more like make it short. I remember I used to do these long grammar videos for my middle school and high school courses, and I tested and I say, what do you think? Señora Morato, too long. Too long? So I went from 30 to 15 to 7 minutes to 8. That's what.
Yeah.
So I think that is important for course creators to understand not only how to deliver, but also the product, but how to deliver the content. Because here,
Yes.
for the number one challenge I have, I don't know about other course creators, is people need to finish the courses.
Yeah.
And that's how I am right now, in the middle of testing and creating new strategies to make sure whoever goes into my learning world finish what they start.
Right.
And I had a testimonial from one dad that I was talking to him. I have several dads in my community, and this is what he said. He said, "Listen, your speaking curriculum is amazing. My daughter was taking Spanish in school, but it was just songs, which is good, songs and stories. But when we got home, there was nothing for her to do. So she will do my program." She's speaking. She's extremely shy. So she will never go to a class or speak in front of people, but she is. And guess what? Out of your cultural lessons, we pick the country that we're going to go. We're going to go to Bolivia and we're going to go to Sucre. I was just listening there. I was crying a little bit. He couldn't see me, but because that's the transformation that I want. Like I want students to be transformed, maybe not to that extreme,
Right.
but I think that's another thing that I had to fix in the way that I was too much the teacher, and I didn't know how to focus on the transformation because I was focused on my teaching, my content, the most important thing, my content. And then I realized, through you and I have been in different, products where they teach us it's the transformation what matters. But that took a while for me to understand what does the transformation look like. And it's not like a Spanish teacher. So we need to remove our teaching hat or the expert hat and see the transformation from the eyes of a children, or the eyes of a parent,
Right.
or whoever you're serving.
And from the education standpoint, something that we teach in our Successful Online Courses program and in our Master Teacher Accelerator program, you have to bring in the things like the learning styles and the love languages, and that like they have to feel, we mentioned this in, I think when we spoke with Marie in one of our other episodes, the chocolate lady, about how you have to feel safe in order for your brain to be able to learn. And if they can't learn, they're not going to finish it. They're not going to get the transformation that you're trying to teach. And so, always evaluating these things of how do I make them feel loved? How do I make them feel welcome? How do I make them not feel like a failure as I give the critique or show them how to be better, and how do I pave the way here for success and push them to get it? And that's what makes an amazing course or program, is getting them to the end and getting them that transformation.
That's true. And that's what I am focusing right now. My focus right now is how can I grow my audience. So I know I have a good product. I know my niche now. So now, I'm scaling, and it's how I'm going to grow my audience. And I am able now to focus more on the mission, on on the movement,
Mhm.
moving the movement. I want, being bilingual is something good. It's an amazing opportunity. Like we don't give it to people when they are children. Most likely they're not going to develop that when they are adults. So that's where my heart is right now. How can I help to move the movement? How can I be part of the movement, the impact and the influence? And I think that scaling should be all about that. How can we influence more?
Yep. Make a bigger impact. Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your experience around launching your programs. Karim, it's been a pleasure to have you.
Oh, thank you, Katie, for having me. Thank you for everything you do for us.
For those of you watching and listening, be sure that you connect with Karim. You want to head on over to her website, homeschoolspanishcurriculum.com. And we will also put the links in the show notes so you can connect with her and get on her list. Follow what they're doing with their launches and learn from that. And if you're looking to learn a second language, I know she'd be happy to help you out. So we'll talk to
Yes.
you next time. Have a great week.
Okay. Bye-bye. Adios.